Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to night number 2 here at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. We are running a little behind here this evening, getting things sorted out. Had a bunch of last-minute drivers coming through, so that took a little bit of extra time to get our lineups ready to go, but we are just about ready for green flag action here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Glad you're with us on this beautiful Saturday night. Mother Nature today has definitely got racing in her blood, or racing on her mind. She wants to get this show in tonight. Unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, Sunday was an event, Saturday was rained out, and last Saturday, our big sprint show, it got rained out as well. Just too much water here at the track from the previous night's racing, and I know Saturday was nice, but unfortunately, weren't able to get that show in. But we are here tonight for night number 2 at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Track conditions tonight looking great. We've still got a little bit of water sitting around the bottom of the racetrack, but that will get run in pretty quickly. Something you'll notice there through the turns, no more pool noodles. We got rid of those pool noodles. We got a little bit of a berm on the bottom to keep those drivers up and out of the infield. Late model feature last week definitely did a number on those pool noodles, but hey, we got to do what we got to do. We're getting there. It's definitely been a bit of a process getting things organized, but we are back. It is night number 2. We've got all 5 classes on the docket here for tonight. We're going to be starting off right shortly here with our mini mod division, followed by the mini stocks, the thunder stocks, and the late models and modifieds, rounding out our schedule tonight. Safety crew on the infield there, getting ready to go, and those guys, I gotta give them props every weekend, getting those fire suits on, sitting down there in the sun. It's air conditioned up here and it's still a little warm, so big thanks to those guys down on the infield, doing a great job each and every week for us. We want to thank them. Actually had some exciting stuff happening there on night number 1 with a couple of rollovers, and those guys quick to the scenes. Before we get rolling, got to give a big shout out to our friends at Quick Wick Fire Starters. Quick Wick jumping on board this year as the title sponsor at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Frank and the gang doing a lot throughout the motorsports series this year. You can check them out. Last night they handed out some awards at Delaware Speedway, having a big race going on there. So yeah, if you're not familiar, make sure you check them out. Quick Wick Fire Starters. You see them on all their social media, Facebook, Instagram. Check them out. Great product, which is available here at the Speedway. If you want some, head on down to our souvenir booth and get those. You can buy one, you can buy a pack, you can buy a bucket if you want to. We got lots. Mini mods in the chute, getting fired up, getting ready to go. Two heats going to start the night here for our mini mod division. Hasn't been too much action on the dirt tracks so far this year elsewhere in Ontario. I know the government and COVID and everything that we've been dealing with has been a bit of an issue, but it's almost that time here. We got some great racing action here for you tonight as heat race number 1 rolls out onto the racetrack. As they cruise on by the flag stand, we'll run down our first list here. $78B, got to get my words right here. 78B is Brad Bowden. The 28K, that is Caleb O'Leary. 29J is Dave Johnson. The 91 car, 91, that is Austin Pickering. And the 23D, Joel Desjardins. 6 cars on the docket ready to go for heat race number 1. Green flag in hand as we get ready to unleash for heat race number 1 in our Great Lakes Gymnastics mini mods. Well, just as quick as we get them started, we're going to get them wound up just a little bit. We've got some debris down there on the front stretch. Piece of plastic off of one of the cars. Big panel off of one of the cars right down there on the front stretch. So we will get them lined back up, ready to go one more time. Something a little bit different this week. 2 weeks ago, we had the cone out on the racetrack, the starting cone coming out of turn number 4. Well, this week we've got the starting zone. The starting zone, kind of, I guess, sort of maybe a NASCAR thing or whatever, but a little bit of a spot here coming out of turn number 4. We've got about 25 feet of an area there that the race cars got to come through, and that's where they will get the green flag to get the night started, or to get their heat race started, I should say. The other car in the heat race tonight, Harley Hornick in that 62, rounding out the top 6, or the 6 cars in the field, ready to go one more time. Green flag in hand for heat race number 1. Well, first time down the backstretch they go. It is Caleb O'Leary. We've got some cars a little squirrely down there in the muck coming out of turn number 2. Harley Hornick in the 62, as well as, I'm not even sure right now, the 29J car. Also involved there, like I said, a little bit of some moisture down on the bottom of the track, so those guys get into that. Dave Johnson in that 29J. Going to bring out the caution here just one more time. Last week, Harley Hornick in the 62, she had some rear end issues causing her night to come to an end, but she's back out here. Looks like the 29J, Dave Johnson, will get it fired back up, ready to go, and once he gets out of the muck, he'll be all set. Another rookie in the field there, the 78 car, Brad Bowden. Brad, in basically second night in the car there. He had his first night, opening night. Said it was decent, not too bad, but back out again. Another couple cars I talked to earlier tonight literally will be the first time on the track. They haven't even had some practice laps yet, those guys bringing those cars out. So such a great view on that shot right there. I gotta say, folks at Rock Dog doing our videotaping here, man, that just they got a couple new angles for us this week, and it's awesome. It's so much fun to watch. Try to give you guys the best show we can put on here, and down the backstretch they go, single file. Caleb O'Leary in the 28 car, going to bring him around. Austin Pickering. Austin, another car last week, was on the go to have a great run and broke a front tie rod. So that cut his night short here in heat race number 1. So looking for a better outing from that 91. Green flag in hand. O'Leary will bring him down through the starting zone, getting ready to go back to green in heat race number 1. Again, slow and steady through 1 and 2 for most of these cars. O'Leary and Pickering out front, working their way around. Joel Desjardins sits in that 3rd position. Cars pretty spread out here in heat race number 1. Not a bad thing. Just get through this and survive till we get to feature time. Halfway this time by for race leader Caleb O'Leary. Caleb O'Leary, part of a two-car team coming out here. His brother Tate in the Thunder, or I guess the mini stock division, actually in this is a truck, mini stock truck. It's kind of cool. He was another one. Had some issues going through last week. Got caught up a little bit with the tire down into a rut and ended up on his side, but nothing serious. He didn't make it back out for the feature. So some of these folks getting the bugs worked out here as the night goes on. Down the backstretch, Harley Hornick, unfortunately, she's got a rear tire going down, so she will try and get that car down into the infield. Down and out of harm's way, but caution will come out. Got her back on the track. She'll try and make her way back off the rear exit of the racetrack, and oh, maybe not. Not too sure if she might not be aware quite yet of that tire going down, but she'll figure it out real soon. It makes it hard to race with three tires. Got them all sorted out. Harley going to park there on the infield till we get through this heat race number one, the 28K. Caleb O'Leary still leading these guys around. Going to bunch them up, give a shot one more time. Austin Pickering in that second position. See if he's got anything for our leader. Bunching them up one more time down the backstretch. Joel Desjardins in that 23D sits in the third. Brad Bowden in the fourth. And Dave Johnson in that 29J. Rounding out the top five. Green flag in hand coming out of turn number 4, and Caleb a little high up the track, gathers it up out of 4 one more time. White flag in hand last time around for heat race number 1. A couple more turns, see if Austin has anything for our race leader, but looks like O'Leary gonna hold on one more time down through 3 and 4. Steady back on the gas, checkers are out. Caleb O'Leary, heat race winner, followed by Austin Pickering and Joel Desjardins rounding out the top 3. Pretty quiet start to our night, not too bad at all there. Heat race number 1 in the books. Minor issues there for the 62 of Harley Hornick. I'm sure she'll get back there, get that tire changed, and ready to go for feature time tonight. Unfortunately, no sheet here yet for Caleb O'Leary. I did my duties. I got a bunch of driver profile forms actually out to these guys here tonight. I'm trying to get some information on these drivers to pass along to you. Always nice to know who they are and what they do, where they're from. A couple of these guys, one that I found out about tonight, we'll be talking about here in our modified division, is actually from Saskatchewan. So that's kind of neat down here for the summertime, but we'll talk about that come modified time. We got one more heat race though ready to go. Heat race number 2 down there in the chute for our mini mod division. Somebody that wasn't out here week number 1, Rick Ballison. I can see that green monster on the hood of that car on the 21. It's a pretty neat looking machine. That green monster coming out of the chute there. Rest of the cars here in heat race number 2. We've got the 16, that is Evan Bonner. The whole Bonner family out here, 2 of them in heat race number 2 here. Behind him, we've got Wes Bertozzi in that 46 car, definitely a good-looking mini-mod. Making her way out to the front row, Jessica Van Hall there in the 06. As I mentioned, the 21, that is Rick Ballison. Behind them, we've got the 31. 31 is Marshall Harreggers. The 73 car, that is Dan Loveday. And the N64, last week's, 2 weeks ago, mini mod feature winner, Dylan Bonner in the N64. I dubbed him the Pokemon. I don't know if he knows or likes that, but that car covered in Pokemon, and with all the popularity of the Pokemon lately, maybe he'll get some good luck and keep this winning streak alive. He's starting at the back of heat race number 2. Seven cars in heat race number 2. Caution still out, just making sure things are sorted out. We've got our transponder system is up and running here this week. Definitely an important piece of the puzzle that we had some issues with in week number 1, but transponder system now working this week. Definitely making a big difference, helping things out. White flags this time. One more lap around before we unleash heat race number 2. In the Great Lakes Gymnastics mini mods. Great crowd on hand tonight as well, as we see lots of fans here. Glad to see some folks out enjoying some racing. Down the back stretch they come. Jessica Van Hall and Evan Bonner are going to bring them out of 4, ready to go. Heat race number 2. Green flag is in the air. Definitely got to pedal that start coming there out of turn 4. But right off the bat, working his way up through Marshall Harreggers, up into the 3rd position already, side by side with Wes Bertozzi. But down the backstretch they go. The 16 of Evan Bonner has taken the top spot down here through lap number 1. He'll hold on, but outside of him, the 31 of Marshall Harreggers, quick to the outside, taking that lead away. And right behind him is the N64. Dylan Bonner and Wes Bertozzi now sit in the 2nd and 3rd position respectively. Bertozzi slides up just a little bit out of 3, but he's going to gain back that 3rd position. Not a surprise to see that 31 car quickly making his way to the front. Definitely a front runner as the season has gone on in previous years. Marshall, no stranger to victory lane, winning some championships in that 31 mod, or 31 mini mod. My goodness, tongue twisters today. But hot on his heels, Dylan Bonner in the N64 car, slowly reeling him in here, getting things sorted out. You'll definitely see these cars back for feature time, and should be fun to watch with those. Looks like some issues there out of turn number 4. We've got the 73 of Dan Loveday. He's going to pull that thing off to the infield. He's out of harm's way, so we stay green. The N64 now right on that rear bumper of Marshall Harreggers. Looks to the inside, not enough to make it stick. 5 or 6 car lengths back there to Wes Bertozzi as they head down the backstretch. 2 laps to go, a little further back. Evan Bonner and Rick Ballison both going hard at it for that 4th and 5th position. Jessica Hall in the 06. Rounded out the top 5 here in heat race number 1. White flag in hand that time by for race leader Marshall Harregers. Harregers and Bonners will make up or catch up a little bit of lap traffic there of the 06 car as they tiptoe around in 3 and 4. But Marshall Harregers in the 31 going to hold on, pick up heat race number 2 win here for our Great Lakes Gymnastics mini mods. Wes Bertozzi in the 3rd position tonight. We'll have to see what kind of nicknames we come up with here for Wes Bertozzi. He's always been Wild Wes Bertozzi, but a few of his crew decided it's time to change that. So we'll get some paperwork on that, see what those guys come up with. For Wes Bertozzi in that 46 car. Glad to see him back out. Another person, Tiffany Ellis, she'll be behind the wheel of that mini mod once in a while this season. Mini stock heat race down there lined up in the chute. Got 6 cars right now on the list for our mini stock feature as they make their way out onto the racetrack. The 2M 20M, that is Brad Maynard in that 2M. Also supposed to be making their way out for the heat race, Ken Frazier in the 50. 2M, that is Brad Maynard. 77 truck, I don't see that one out here yet. Maybe just making his way out, but that will be Tate O'Leary in the 77. Tim Newell in the 26 car. Ken Frazier in the 50. I don't see that one out here yet. 747, I don't see that car out here as well, but I've got those guys on the list here. Ryan Beaulieu in the 747. No, right there, the second car in line, 747, that's Ryan Beaulieu. Big Holland Haskell's logo on the side of that hot rod. Cars will get bunched up one more time, ready to go. Ken Frazier in that orange 50 car. Brad Maynard in the 2M. Ryan Beaulieu in the 747. 77 car, not in it tonight. Tate O'Leary. J2 James Kelly. The 33 is Mark McDonald. Green flag out for heat race number 1. Mini stock division ready to go. Little bit of bumps down the back stretch they go. The 20M, caution will come out, Looks like we've got some debris on the track right out there in turn number 2. As we mentioned, the racetrack still a little soupy down there on the bottom. If that's where these guys decide to venture early on, could be some issues with that. Debris picked up, cleaned up, ready to go. Tim Newell and Matt Newell here on the registration sheet of the 26 car, which is out front leading these guys around. I'm going to go with Tim Newell so far. Tim in that first position. Behind him, J Squared, the J2 of James Kelly. Brad Maynard in the third position. And we see the 77 truck has made his way out onto the racetrack. He will join the tail end of that field. Yeah, 2 weeks ago it was the 77 truck, like I say, ended up on his side. Nothing too hard, just a bit of a rollover, got a rut, got a tire down, and that caused his night to come to an end in the heat race, but he did make it back out for the feature. We will get these guys lined back up for a complete restart. Complete restart will be happening on the racetrack once we get them lined back up in their starting positions. I'm going to put Ken Fraser and Brad Maynard back out on the front row. Picking up some speed down the backstretch. They go, ready, green flag in hand, ready to go. Coming out of turn number 4, Ken Fraser, Brad Maynard, mini stock heat race. You can hear that on the microphone. Sounds like somebody having some motor issues there. I believe the 2 car down the back stretch, but down the front stretch they come. The 50 car, that is the Dirty Dog of Ken Fraser, leading heat race number 1 with the mini stocks. Brad Maynard in the 20M. Behind him, James Kelly sits in that third position. '26, Tim Newell on the move, looking to the inside of James Kelly, trying to take that third spot away. He will get that done as they come by the flag stand. Ryan Beaulieu in the 747 in that 4th position. Fifth position, sorry, and in the 6th position, Tate O'Leary in the 77 truck. Not much changing out front. Decent battle back for that 3rd and 4th position. Two car now making his way to the infield, having some issues there as we hit the halfway point of our heat race for our mini stock division. Pretty neat to see the GoPros on the roofs of a few of these cars. Definitely would be neat to see some of that footage, the close and personal they get with the racing. Race leader Ken Fraser slides up the track a little bit. That gives Brad Maynard in the 20 a bit of an opportunity to close that gap. Down the back stretch they go. Fraser slides way up the racetrack and Maynard takes advantage. He's going to take the top spot as they come under the stripe one more time. Down the front stretch they go. This time it's Fraser taking that spot back as they head down the back stretch. Back and forth they go, white flag in hand one more time around as Fraser slides up the racetrack again, tapping the wall coming out of turn number 4. Door to door they go. Brad Maynard, he is going to lead that lap with one more to go. We'll see who holds on now through 1 and 2. Fraser on the high line, trying to make it stick up there. They're going to come out side by side. Maynard with a bit of an advantage down the backstretch. They go one more time through 3 and 4. Fraser throws it in again, getting all the way up to the wall, using all the real estate checkers in hand as they come down. It's going to be Brad Maynard picking up the heat race win. Ken Fraser finishing second. Close battle there, but the J2, James Kelly, will take the 3rd position here in our mini stock heat race tonight. Great battle all the way back through the field there. So just like that, 3 heat races in the books, mini mods and mini stocks, now set to head back to the pits and get ready to go for their feature events here tonight. I see some Thunder stocks getting lined up there for their heat races tonight. Got 2 of those heat races, 2 heat races on the list. And a whole heap of driver profiles here tonight, so we'll try and get through some information on some of these drivers. Some new, some not new. One of the ones to mention coming out here in heat race number 1, Calvin Fox, 14 years old. Behind the wheel of one of these Thunder stocks. I know Calvin has had some success in the go-kart division. Raced some go-karts here and there, so glad to see him making the move up. Obviously, Jason Fox, a few of the other guys have been in this class before, and they know their stuff. So Calvin going to make a go at the young age of 14. Again, want to thank you for tuning in here. If you're watching from, well, wherever you're watching from, sitting at home on the couch, enjoying this beautiful weather. I'm sure some wishing you were sitting by the campfire with some beverages. Definitely a nice night to enjoy. Beautiful weather here at the racetrack. Always happy to have some good weather and some great racing action for you. You can check us out all season long, Saturday nights, starting at well, unfortunately, around 7 o'clock sometimes. We're going to get this program rolling. 7 o'clock, slated green flag on Saturday nights. Make sure you tune in each and every Saturday night. Follow along on the YouTube channel. If you aren't already, make sure you follow along on Instagram and Facebook as well. We'll have you all the up-to-date events coming out. One that unfortunately was recently canceled, the Big Block Modified show, slated to come next week here to the racetrack. And a bunch of those drivers obviously not able to make it. The border closures have been a bit of an issue getting some drivers here. So that show put on hold for now. We don't want to give you half a show. We want to put on the best show possible. So that's going to not be happening next week. But lots coming up in the next few weeks, a few months here. Don't worry. We've got lots of racing for you all the way into, well, September anyways. We've got lots of great shows coming up here at the racetrack and continuing to make improvements here each and every week. So we want to thank you for joining us here, and I'm sure in the near future see a bunch of you in the grandstands here enjoying live action at the racetrack if you can. I know there was a driver that mentioned he's got some family watching, I believe. I want to say Manitoba, somewhere that he has some of these fans or family and friends watching in, because obviously they're not making the trip to come watch us from that far away. So glad you're tuning in, enjoying some racing of this Speedway. Another great angle shot down the front stretch there into turn number 1. Gotta say that camera angle is going to get some pretty awesome shots throughout the season. Can't wait to get that going. I see the track gonna run in this bottom just a little bit here. Obviously, give these guys as much racing room as possible. Run down the list here for some of these drivers. 427, that is Trevor Jones. Trevor Jones in the 427 out on the front. 30 car, that is Laura Othier. I believe 30 is the Laura Othier. '93 there is Kelvin Fox. We mentioned the 14-year-old getting his start in the Thunderstock division. Matt Wilson in the 42, and I'm going down my list, making sure we get all these drivers. Brian Brady there in the 444, the 36 car. Tonight being driven by, I just had it somewhere. I'm going to get this sorted out, fans. I apologize. We, like I say, getting a few of these names and numbers sorted out. Alan Riom there in the 36 car. Yeah, as I'm going down the list, just did get where we've got all the drivers for both heats out here trying to get this packed in just a little bit. So as I'm going down my heat race list, I'm trying to figure out who's who and why these cars are here. But now it makes sense. Going to run this bottom in just a little bit before we cut our Thunderstocks loose. One of the drivers want to pass our condolences along. Gord Grant losing his father today. He's out there in that 5 car. I believe that is him driving tonight. So some sad news for the Grant team, but they've got the car out here. So thoughts to that family. Got the bottom running just a little bit, ready to go. Try and keep them down on the bottom as much as we can. See that moisture down there on the exit of turn number 4 and also on the bottom headed down into number 1. Pretty low on the track, shouldn't be too much of an issue, but obviously want to get that running as best we can. Keep in mind, if you do make your way down to the racetrack, concession stand open. Lots of good food. We've got some great stuff coming out in the souvenir booth. Some new swag coming out this year for the racetrack. So if you are down, once we get you in the stands, make sure you go down there and check that out. Some great stuff for all fans down in the souvenir booth here at the racetrack. Cars now making their way off the back stretch. We'll get them lined up, ready to go for our Thunderstock heat race action. 2 heat races set to go. 17 cars currently on the list in our Thunderstock division, so that will definitely make for an interesting feature here tonight. Sorry folks, just getting a little beverage there. Managed to make a big mess all over the desk here. Well, Thunderstock's getting lined up one more time, ready to go, so we can unleash them for their heat race action here tonight. Two of the Jones family out on the track here, both one in heat race number 1, one in heat race number 2. Trevor Jones, Sean Jones, both of those guys have been behind the wheel of some mini mods in the previous years here at the racetrack. Obviously, a lot of those years have kind of changed. Well, the racetrack has changed pretty significantly. For those of you tuning in for the first time, definitely some changes at the racetrack throughout last year into this year. Size and shape have, well, it's not a D anymore. It's a pretty big oval, giving these guys lots and lots of room to run. As I mentioned, I gave some lists here to these drivers to fill out, and I was just going through some of these Thunderstock drivers, and one of the questions asked was some of their racing goals. And one of them is to not spin out. That's a pretty darn good racing goal here for one of our Thunderstock drivers. Ryan Berry in the 75 car, his goal is to not spin out. So we'll keep an eye on him, see if his racing goals do come true here tonight. As I mentioned, some of these guys from our Thunderstock division making the trip here from out of town. A lot of local guys as well. Marcel Gaudet making the trip from Bell River. Seems to be a bunch of folks from the Tilbury area. Andrew Mayu, another youngster, an 18-year-old. He's from Windsor, Ontario, in that 98 car. Again, as we mentioned, COVID having a bit of an issue, the government opening things up, as I'm sure most of you know, so within the next couple weeks we will be able to get you back out here into the grandstands to watch these races, so looking forward to that. Keep an eye out on our social media, Facebook and Instagram pages. We will keep you up to date there as to what is allowed and when. Definitely kind of weird as an announcer sitting here not seeing many fans in the stands that can hear us talking, but glad you're listening at home or wherever it is you're listening. Heat race number 1, Thunderstock division now out on the track. 427, that is Trevor Jones, the 5G Gord Grant. 65 car, 65 is Scott Dunn. 92, Paige Lanou. The 98 car of Andrew Mayu. The 96T, that is Todd Shaw. 47B, Mitchell Russo. Mitchell, the younger, or the son, not the younger, he is younger obviously than his father, who is normally behind the wheel of a modified. 39, Kevin Demore, and the 93 car of Nathaniel Greenaway. now back out on the track, getting lined up there. Kevin DeMore in that 39 car. Definitely one of the classes we've got a few more rookies in, but not a bad class to start if you want to get some great racing action in. This would be a great class to do it in. Lineup looking good, as we mentioned. Trevor Jones and Gord Grant on the front row again. Our condolences to the Grant family after their loss today. Mitchell Brusso on the second row. Paige Lanou, Mitchell Brusso there in row number 2, making the switch to get those cars in their proper position. Now making his way out onto the track. Nathaniel will hurry up and get to the back of the field, and we will get ready to go here for heat race number 1 in our Thunder Stock division. White flag in hand, that will give him one more time around before we cut this heat race loose. Jones and Grant sitting on the front row. Second row, Mitchell Brusso and Paige Lanou. Paige, a lot of racing experience here, it seems like, in the go-kart division. 3-time Purple Plate champ, so we'll see if she can get it done from the second row there in the 92 car. Todd Shaw and Nathaniel in row number 3. Kevin DeMore in the 4th row, and looks like the 98 car. Andrew Mayu going to make his way around the back. Start off slow, not a bad place to go if you're not too sure yourself. Green flag in hand, ready to go for heat race number 1. Green out, ready to go. The 5 car out to the early lead as he comes out of turn number 2. Mitchell Brusso behind him. Trevor Jones in the 427. Make their way into turn 3 and 4, trying to take that second position. Down by the stripe, it will be the 427 taking the position. Mitchell Brusso in 3rd. Coming down the front stretch, though, it is the 92 car, Paige Lemieux, getting around just a little. Paige Lanou gets spun around, coming out of 4th. She's going to get down there in the muck. Hopefully we can get her fired back up. Getting a little muck there on the front of the push truck, but hey, got her out of the mud. That's good to go. She'll join the tail end of that field. As we mentioned, a lot of rookies here in our Thunderstock division. Not something I can say I have ever done here at the racetrack is get behind the wheel of a race car. I've never had an interest for it, so I do give credit to some of these folks trying it out for the first time and making a go of it here. Definitely not as easy as it looks, that's for sure. Lineup is good, ready to go as they head down the backstretch, ready to come to green one more time in heat race number 1 for our Thunderstock division. Mitchell Brusso now jumped out to the front row. See if we can get a clean restart with the Grant car as well as Mitchell Brusso. Saw a post on Facebook earlier this week, Mitchell Brusso with some new shoes on that hot rod, looking to put them to good use. Takes a slight advantage there out of turn number 1. Down through 3 and 4 they go. 4 cars out front here. Great battle. Four cars out front here. Mitchell Brusso leading them around, but behind him we've got all kinds of racing action going on here. We've got the 5 car, the 427, and Kevin DeMore in that 39. Still door to door they go down there into 1 and 2. Grant slides up just a little bit, tapping the 39 car, but no worse for wear. 3 wide as they come out of turn number 2. Down the backstretch they go. Grant looking to the inside of Brusso, trying to take that lead away, coming out of 4. He'll get that first position just by half a car length. Brusso in the second position, 427. Trevor Jones, Kevin DeMore still side by side. 3 wide again into turn number 2. Trevor Jones going to lose just a little bit of ground there, getting squirrely coming out of turn number 3. Kevin DeMore also in the mix. That's going to spread this pack out for sure. Looks like we've got a left front flat on Kevin DeMore's 39 car. That will slow him down just a little bit. We'll see if he makes his way off into the pits. Definitely a little harder to turn right with that front flat. He's making his way into the pits. Still trying to figure out behind the wheel of that 5 car. I want to assume there might be a different driver in that car tonight. I know when I spoke to the guys early on, they were hoping to get a gentleman by the name of Bugsy to pilot that machine tonight, as some of the family members not making it. I know Bugsy definitely quite the wheelman here in the past. He's been behind the wheel of some Thunderstocks and things previously, so got a feeling that's him in that 5 car, leading him around, green flag in hand. Mitchell Brusso quick behind, and Paige Lanou sits now in that 3rd position. Trevor Jones in that 427, making quick work on the outside, moving up into the 4th position. Now looking on the outside of the 92, down through 3 and 4. Contact down the front stretch, and the 427 of Trevor Jones up into the wall, manages to keep it off and down on all 4s. I'm assuming some right front damage on that car as he was hard into the concrete down the front stretch. He is stuck up there in turn number 2. Yeah, definitely some front end damage there on that 427 car. Driver's out, you see him, he's okay, no worse for wear. A little bit of contact as they come down the front stretch. The 92 car was on the inside and not much room for him to work, and got caught up there into the wall. Jones, Baruso, and Nathaniel Greenaway in that 93 car, currently rolling around in that 3rd position. here comes a tow truck. I see the tow truck, and all I can think about is Mater for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I guess my kids' movies are catching up with me here. But see if we can get that car down off the wall. Obviously, the right front tucked well up under that car, so they've got some work to do to try and get that one back out for the feature here tonight. car out front, followed by the 47 car, Mitchell Brusso. The 93 is Nathaniel Greenway. And the extra Andrew Mayu in that 4th position. Two laps left to go here in our Thunderstock heat race. 93 car close to the wall, manages to keep it off. He's going to keep rolling on there in that 3rd position one more time around before the white flag comes out. White flag flying. 5G car leading around, followed by the 47 of Mitchell Brusso. Checkers in hand last time around for heat race number 1, and it will be the 5G car picking up the win here in heat race number 1, followed by the 47 of Mitchell Brusso, the 93 car of Nathaniel Greenway. And rounding out the top, Andrew Mayu in the 98 car. That will do it for heat race number 1. We'll keep an eye and see if we get that 427 car back out onto the racetrack for the feature, but I think those guys are going to have a lot of work to do on the front end of that car. His night might be done as the lights come on here at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. I'm kind of excited to see. I have yet to be here after dark with this new light system. If you haven't been out to the Speedway yet, man, it is bright. Henry and the gang with lots of brand new lighting around the Speedway, all LED lights up there, and shouldn't be too many dark spots for these drivers come feature time tonight. 427, Trevor Jones there, his night a little short. Not a bad looking hot rod there, but they'll have some work to do for sure if they are going to make it back out for the feature here tonight. But I've seen worse, and those guys have made it back out. It's pretty crazy what some of these guys are capable of with what little bits of stuff they have over there in the pits. As heat race number 2 rolling out onto the racetrack. Heat race number 2, we have got the 30 car of Laura Authier, 93F Calvin Fox, the G72, that is Marcel Gaudet, 42 of Matt Wilson, 36 car, that is Alan Riome, 444 is Brian Brady, 75 of Ryan Berry, and the 327 of Sean Jones. See the 65 car out there on the track. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything on my list here. My mistake, 65, that is Scott Dunn. Scott Dunn was scheduled to go in heat race number 1, but he's made it out here for heat race number 2. Green flag in the air for heat race number 2. Laura Authier, Calvin Fox, taking him down there into turn number 1 and 2. Great shot as they go down there through 1 and 2, but now down through 3 and 4. Calvin Fox so far got it out front. Behind him, the 444 of Brian Brady sits in that 2nd position. Good battle for that 3rd spot. The 42 of Matt Wilson and the 327 of Sean Jones doing battle there. Jones going to take that 3rd spot away as they come out of 2. Down the backstretch they go. Brian Brady in the 444 looking to the inside, but not going to make it work. Calvin Jones going to lead that lap. Good battle now coming down the backstretch as the 327 takes the lead. Sean Jones down the backstretch going to get it done. Calvin Fox, the 42 of Matt Wilson, now going door to door. Coming out of 4, down the front stretch they go. Matt Wilson in the 42 makes it stick, scoots into that second position past the 93 of Calvin Fox. Behind him is the 444 of Brian Brady. He's now looking to the inside, trying to take that third position away. Calvin Fox will hold him off that lap. Sean Jones with about 4 car lengths ahead of the 42 car now, but back into that third and fourth battle between the 93 and the 444. Car's now going to have to make their way around the 30 of Laura Oth here. She'll make that car stick on the bottom. Leader makes it by now. Second place car getting by Laura Oth here. As we hit the halfway point of heat race number 2, Sean Jones steady down the front stretch he goes. Not much changing behind him. Marcel Godet, the G72, back in that 5th position. White flag out that time by for race leader, and we've got one more to go. Sean Jones down through 3 and 4. And it will be the 327, Sean Jones picking up the heat race win in our Thunderstock division for heat race number 2. Matt Wilson in the second spot. A good run from rookie there, Calvin Fox, rounding out the top 3 in our second heat race. Thunderstock heat race now making their way off the racetrack down the backstretch, and they will be ready to go for their feature coming up here right shortly. Again, big shout out there. Quick Wick Firestars, our title sponsor here at the racetrack. So happy to see those guys joining us all season long. Like I say, you're getting into campfire season, make sure you get some of that product. They have got some great stuff. Quick Wick Firestarters. As our late model heat race now rolls out onto the track, heat race number 1 for our late model division. Glad to see a bunch of these cars making their way out this week. Unfortunately, a bunch missing for Father's Day, but they are back here tonight. Out on the front row, we have the 00 car. That is Jimmy Dale. Outside of him, the RH21 Greg Haskell. Row number 2, it is the Bad Fast Grandpa. That is Jim Jones. Outside of him, Jordan Van Hall in the 06. Behind him, the Fat Guy Racing Machine. That is Mike Lewis in the 05. Outside of him, it is the 4 car of CJ Field. Behind them, the 48 car, Rob Young. Don Douglas in that 19D car, and rounding out heat race number 1, we've got the 43 car. That is Cody Vandewinkle in the 43. 9 cars ready to go, green flag in hand. Jimmy Dale, Greg Haskell will bring them out of 3 and 4 down through the starting zone for heat race number 1. Late models, here we go. Everybody clean through 1 and 2. Greg Haskell on the pole out front, down there through 3 and 4. Going to lead heat number 1, followed by Jimmy Dale and Jimmy Jones in that 3rd position. Inside of him, the CJ Field Machine looking to take that 3rd position away. Side by side, they come out of turn number 2. Greg Haskell with a full backstretch lead over the 2nd place car of 00 Jimmy Dale. He's going to tick off one more lap here as we go through. Jimmy Dale in that 2nd position. CJ Field now up into the 3rd position, looking to get on the back door of the 00. Jim Jones, the bad fast grandpa, still sits in that 4th position now. And Jordan Van Hall in the 06 rounds out the top 5. Jimmy Dale slides up a little bit out of 3 and 4. That's going to open the door for CJ Field to take away that 2nd position, but he has got his work cut out if he is going to get anywhere near race leader Greg Haskell, now making his way through lap traffic. Two laps, there we go, 2 laps to go here in late model heat race number 1. Greg Haskell now looking to put a lap on the 48 car of Rob Young. And he is half a track ahead of 2nd place car. That is the 4 of CJ Field. Behind them, the Jimmy and the Jimmy Show. Jimmy Dale and Jimmy Jones battle down there through 1 and 2. Jimmy Dale still sits in that 3rd position. Checkers out. Greg Haskell picking up heat race number 1. 2nd goes to CJ Field, and 3rd is going to go to Jim Dale Jr. in that 00 car. Quite a run there from the RH21. Great starting position, but man, he had that thing rocking right from the get-go. Greg coming from Chatham. Greg going to give a big shout out to his family members, Mo, the Lion Cat. So hi Mo, I hope you're listening at home. Greg with that Coronet power under the hood there, winner of heat race number 1, heat race 2, now out onto the racetrack. Ryan Bonner in the 29 car. Outside of him, it is the 22S of Brian Spielman. Brian making his rookie campaign in the 22S. Brad Simpson in the 53. Brett Hope, another rookie tonight in that 49 car. Andrew Reaume tonight behind the wheel of the 1A car. The white machine there sits in the 3rd row. Outside of him, we have Kyle Gill in the 87. Brad Bloomfield is in the 11B. Mike Dale in that 00 car. And Rick Cedar in the 52, rounding out heat race number 2 for our late model class here tonight. Should be a good one. A guy obviously keeping an eye on. Andrew Reaume, no slouch here by any means. Behind the wheel of that 1A car. He's starting off in that 3rd position. Out front though, we've got Ryan Bonner and Brian Spielman. Brian definitely no stranger to the racetrack. Many laps around in his modified. Decided he was going to go double duty this season behind the wheel of this late model. We'll see how he gets it going here for heat race number 2. Ryan Bonner, Brian Spielman, front row. Heat race number 2, green flag in hand, ready to go down through number 4. Here we go. Spielman going to take lap number 1, followed by Brett Hope and Brad Simpson. 1, 2, 3 here as we roll through heat race number 2. Clean down the backstretch, down through 1 and 2. Andrew Reaume in the 1A looking inside. Brad Simpson in the 53. He now runs in that 3rd position. I'm going to start tracking down 2nd place runner of Brett Hope. Brad Simpson, Kyle Gill, and Brad Bloomfield. Slow go for the 29 car. Ryan Bonner starting on the front row. Unfortunately slid back a little bit through the field, as up front though, the 1A tonight driven by Andrew Reaume now takes that 2nd position away. We're going to have about a full turn and half a heat race to see if he can track down leader in the 22 car of Brian Spielman. Some slow cars down the backstretch is the 87 car. He makes his way into the pits, the 29 slow, and Mike Dale right into the back end of that car. Caution will come out. Caution out. Not sure what happened. A lot of cars slow down the backstretch there. It was the 00 Mike Dale right into the back end of Ryan Bonner in that 29 car. Before that, the 87 of Kyle Gill had made his way to the infield, so a bunch of slow cars down the backstretch. Not sure we also have the 11 of Brad Bloomfield has now come to a stop over there in turn number, well, between 3 and 4. He's down right on the bottom of the racetrack, so it looks like a lot of issues on that lap. Not sure offhand what lap that was, but unfortunately, bad news for our race leader. That's going to put the 1A of Andrew Reum right on the back bumper of Spielman in that 22S. So he's got his work cut out for him before we get going back here to green. I see the helmet off of the 29 car, so that's a good sign. I see the helmet off of the 11 car of Brad Bloomfield. So both of those drivers, obviously not driver issue or not driver hurt or anything, but Mike Dale in the 00 car has got it fired up. Not sure if he just had nowhere to go getting into the back of the 29 car. Some issues there with that one. Brad Bloomfield in the 11, he's going to get a push. Get him out of the way off the turn. Had an interesting conversation with Mike Dale just before the races in that 00 car, and he was hoping to just take it home in one piece. Well, he's got a little damage on the front end, but I guess technically it's still in one piece. He's a driver who has no doubt had some of the worst luck I have ever seen here at the racetrack. It's just crazy some of the accidents that man's been in, but still makes it out here in that 00 car. So we'll keep an eye on him. A little bit of front end damage. We'll see if any of that causes some tire damage as the heat goes on. Bloomfield still getting a push down the backstretch. He'll make his way to the pit area. We've got the 29 car just getting him away from the blocks. He will get pushed down further into the infield, so he is safe and out of the way. And just like that, we are down to 4 cars for heat race number 2. Heat race number 2. Spielman starting on the front row, still holding that position. Andrew Reum, it's starting in that 3rd row. He's worked his way up to that 2nd position. Brett Hope still in that 3rd position, starting in the 2nd row. Well, we've got 2 more heat races to get through before we get to our intermission here tonight. We want to, again, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight on our YouTube channel. Like I said, later on this week, you can catch the rebroadcast on our YouTube channel of that. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the bell. Get those notifications when those come out. And a few other things in the works at the moment. Going to try and get you guys some pretty cool content, get you some information, something that I have always wondered about. I do know a bunch of these drivers and see what they do, but it would be nice to get an inside look what goes on sometimes on the weeks or early on a Saturday, what these guys go through to get these cars ready. And on a Thursday night, Tuesday night even, who knows? They've all got full-time jobs, so technically just a hobby, but man, it's not a hobby I would want, that's for sure. I like watching the birds in my backyard. That's a nice, inexpensive hobby that's not going to break every Saturday night, that's for sure. Kyle Gill pushed to the infield, the 29, Ryan Bonner. He's now pushed a little further to the infield. We will try and bunch these guys up one more time. See if we can get race leader Brian Spielman and the 1A. getting some stuff sorted out here. We've got our safety crew getting some stuff cleaned off the track. Listening as they say through 1 and 2, and he heads through 3 and 4, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Got some debris cleaned up off the racetrack. Five cars left here. Sorry, 5 cars left in heat race number 2 in our late model division. One more time before we cut these guys loose. Brian Spielman in the 22S. Andrew Reaume, the pilot tonight of the 1A machine. Maybe get a chance to see Mr. Excitement himself, Brad Authier, back behind the wheel of that machine later on this season. Hope Mr. Authier gets back to full health again and get back behind the wheel. But one more time, they are going to come out of 3 and 4. Brian Spielman leading Andrew Reaume and Brett Hope for heat race number 2. Green is out, down through 1 and 2. Brian a little high coming out of 2. Both cars slide up through 3 and 4. Spielman gonna take that lap. Two laps left to go in this heat race here. Spielman holding him off as they head back down there through 1 and 2. Mike Dale in the 0 car. He is going to make his way to the infield. Little bobble there by the 22S, and Andrew Reaume taking advantage. He is going to take the point one more time around as we go here. Not sure what happened for the 22, but he's got it fired back up. Brett Hope now in that 3rd position as they come across the stripe. Brad Simpson in the 4th position. High, wide, up to the wall, but Andrew Reaume going to take heat race number 2 in the 1A, followed by Brian Spielman in the 22S, Brett Hope in the 49 car, and Brad Simpson rounding out the 4th position here for heat race number 2. Gonna take just a minute now. We've got 3 cars to get pushed out of the infield here. Lots of issues for some of these drivers here in heat race number 2. We'll see how many can get things fixed up, ready to go before the feature here tonight. Well, our modifieds now making their way out onto the Speedway for heat race number 1. And before we get these guys fired off, a couple cars, one left to go out of the infield. But as always, big thanks to our class sponsor, Shinkle's Gourmet Meats at Chatham. Shinkle's longtime sponsor here for our modified division. Well, not the mini mods, these are the mods, but that's okay. Modified heat race number 1. Another driver, as I mentioned before, somebody that we haven't seen here at the racetrack in a number of years. I don't even know how many. The 5X, that is Tim Richardson. Tim Richardson back out here in the 5X. He is a man on a mission most nights. Quite the driver, that is for sure, behind the wheel of the 5. Last week's feature winner, Joel Dick in the 9D. 09D. Outside of him, we've got Justin Mills in the 6M. We were supposed to have Brian Spielman in the 22S. He obviously just got done. Not sure if he will make the call jumping into that car. The 5C, another driver back to the racetrack. Haven't been here in quite some while. Bob Chapman in the 5C car. and Chris Fiddler in that 33 car. Now, Chris was the gentleman that we talked about. Pretty cool story with that car. He's a race car guy from Saskatchewan, believe it or not. His hometown is Saskatchewan. Now, he is down in the Windsor area for the summertime for work. Heavy equipment operator, so he is down there doing some work, found out about the racetrack, got the race car put together. So for the summer, he is going to hang out here and come racing with us every Saturday night. So glad to see him. Like I say, hometown is Saskatchewan, or in Saskatchewan, but he is here to come into race. Chris Fiddler in that 33 car in heat race number 1. Like we said, a couple of these guys, a gentleman I remember seeing a number of years ago, Tim Richardson, a staple in our modified division here. Many nights watching him do battle with a lot of different cars. Tim from the Tilbury area. Another gentleman, as we mentioned, Bob Chapman from the Kingsville area. Back behind the wheel of a modified, him in that 5C car. A couple fives in our class. He's got a few years experience, it says here on a sheet, and I believe he's been around for quite some time. So couple veterans, if you will, here in heat race number 1. Brian Spielman is making the call here, back going to join the tail end of this field in the 22S. So 6 cars ready to go. Joel Dick, Justin Martin on the front row. Tim Richardson, Brian Spielman, second row. And row number 3, we've got the 5C of Bob Chapman and the 33 of Chris Fiddler ready to go for Shinkles Gourmet Meats Heat Race number 1. Caution still out. Caution is still out. Track clear, looking good, ready to go. Flags will point to the flag stand as they come down through 1 and 2, which means get them ready to go, boys. We are coming to green this time by Mills and Dick, leading them down the back stretch. Down out of 3 and 4 they come one more time, and we are ready to go green. Green out off into 1 and 2. Everybody clean through that corner. Spielman high out of turn number 2, washes up to the wall. That opens up the door. Tim Richardson taking that 3rd position. Out front though, Justin Mills in the 6M going to lead lap number 1. But Tim Richardson in the 5X gets a little squirrely coming down there into 1 and 2. He's going to loop it around. That will bring out the caution as he is sitting down there in turn number 1. I'm sure he will get that thing fired up. Caution is out. He will get it fired up, pointed in the right direction, and join the tail end of the field behind the 33 car of Chris Fiddler. Well, we are back here as Justin Mills still leading Joel Dick and Brian Spielman in heat race as we come through to halfway this time by. Joel Dick down in 3 and 4, looking to the bottom, trying to make it stick. Coming out of 3 and 4, they're going to be side by side. Justin Mills will take that lap. A little bit squirrely there for Tim Richardson in the 5X as he gets around in turn number 4. That will bring out caution again. Caution out for the 5X. Tim Richardson there, a little squirrely. Brings it around, keeps it going though. Everybody headed and pointed in the right direction as they come down one more time past the flag stand. Justin Mills, Joel Dick, Brian Spielman, Chris Fiddler in that 4th position. Bob Chapman and Tim Richardson rolling through heat race number 1 in our modified division. Chinkles Gourmet Meats, modified screen flag in hand. This time by not much changing on that lap there. Justin Mills in the 6M still leading him around. Joel Dick trying to get down there through the inside. Looks to the bottom of turn 3 and 4. Try to nose it through, but Justin Mills with a little bit of steam coming out there. He will take that lap again. 2 laps to go in heat race number 1. Interesting watching a lot of these drivers up out of turn number 2. Sometimes right up to the wall they go. This time by 1 lap left to go in heat race number 1. Bit of a bobble there from Justin Mills. That's going to give Joel Dick a bit of a chance on the inside. Big push up the track there from the 6M. Obviously some issues on the front end of that car. He's going to bring it to a stop down in turn number 2. So that will end this feature under caution as the 6M has come to a stop up in turn number 2. Joel Dick will take the win. Followed by the 22S of Brian Spielman, and Chris Fiddler in the 33 car will finish in the 3rd position. Not sure what happened on the 6M car. He had just come out of 4, bobbled just a little bit. Not sure if something broke on the front end of that car, but as he went in there to 1 and 2, big push, so some serious front end issues. Safety crew taking a look at that thing, as I'm sure we will probably need the hook. Unfortunately at the moment the 29 car of Dylan Bonner on the hook as he was getting towed off after his issues in the late model feature. Safety crew's trying to give him a hand back there, see if they can get that wheel turned just enough to get the 6M car off of the racetrack. Car still running, but some front end issues. We'll see if he can make his way back into the pits under his own power. Well, Justin making his way slow and steady back into the pit area. That will do it for heat race number 1 in our Shingles Modified Division. Race number 2 getting ready to roll out onto the racetrack. 5 cars on the docket for heat race number 2. Mills safely back to the pit area, and that will bring out heat race number 2 on the front row. The 86 car, that is Drew Smith. Inside of him, the 43 car of Brad McLeod. Jim Dale Jr. in that 00, Curtis King in the 07, and Mario Toniolo in that 14 car. Green flag is out. Off we go here in heat race number 2. Brad McLeod, Drew Smith down through 1 and 2. Drew Smith going to pull away slightly out of the number 2. Brad McLeod in the second. Jimmy Dale Jr. slides down through 3 and 4 in that 3rd position, followed by Curtis King and Mario Toniolo. Down through lap number 2, Drew Smith smooth through the corners here in the 86 car. Another guy who has made many trips to victory lane, or a few trips to victory lane, some pretty big wins there in that 86 car. Brad McLeod, a veteran here of the racetrack, many, many years behind the wheel of that 43 car, runs through that 2nd position and back to the 00 car of Jimmy Dale Jr. A lot of people quite shocked to see the 00 car not here last week, but it was Father's Day weekend. And the first time in a long time I heard that is Jimmy Dale not making it to the track then. So a lot of fans excited to see him back at the Speedway. Drew Smith down again through 3 and 4, about 10 car lengths ahead of 2nd place Brad McLeod. Jimmy Dale Jr. now to the infield, which is going to put Curtis King in the 07 in that 3rd position. Followed by the 14 car of Mario Toniolo. 5 cars started, 4 cars left to go. Caution out on the racetrack. I believe the caution out just to move that 00 car a little further to the infield. Better safe than sorry. We don't want to see that car too close to the track. Again, not sure what happened. Jimmy just slow out of turn number 2 and off to the infield he went. So some technical issues going to cut his heat race short. We'll see what happens with that 00 car for the feature tonight. Out front though, Drew Smith in the 86 car. Brad McLeod in the 43. Coming to green this time by Drew Smith, Brad McLeod, Curtis King, and Mario Toniolo. Mario down to the inside of Curtis King. They're 1 and 2. White flag out one more time around for these cars. Drew Smith still leading them. Checker flag in hand, and Drew Smith is going to take heat race number 2 in the 86 car, followed by the 43 car of Brad McLeod. Mario Toniolo in the 14 car, and Curtis King in the 07. And that will do it for heat race number 2 for the Shingles Gourmet Meats Modified Division. That will bring us to intermission, race fans. So sit back and relax. We've got something exciting for you to watch here during intermission, but get these cars off the track first. We'll have to see what technical issues may have had there with the 00 or terminal, perhaps motor-wise. We don't know. That will do it. We'll give these drivers a few minutes to get things ready to go before we unleash them for our feature programs tonight. Again, thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate you watching. And again, we want to thank Quick Fire Starters, all those sponsors you see there on the backstretch. We couldn't do it without them. Quite a few more banners to go up on the backstretch as we have had a number of sponsors jump on board this year. So a big thanks to everybody for helping out. A big thanks to Nick and the gang for making this broadcast possible. I know they've said we don't want a lot of exposure, but man, the work that these guys are putting in to keep this show going for you is amazing. Glad they're here. Pretty exciting to see all the technology that goes into this thing. It's not just a pointing the camera on the racetrack and here we go. They've got quite the setup. So lots of fun to watch if we can somehow figure out the internet speeds here in rural southwestern Ontario. That will make a big difference on what you guys see on the other side of the screen. I do apologize for the little bit of lag that I'm sure I've seen a few people commenting on, but we're working on it. Unfortunately, the location isn't ideal for super fiber, high speed, whatever kind of internet stuff you technical folks need, so we're working on it. If you don't like this one, by all means, you can check it out later on in the week once it's rebroadcast at the full potential and it's a good view. If you don't want to listen to me, feel free to hit the mute button. You won't have to listen. But before we do get to intermission, we have got a sprint car here. A local sprint car driver, Scott Burke, we just wants to shake it down. Was supposed to make the trip, I believe, to Merrittville tonight. Not making the trek up there. The big Pinty's Knights of Thunder tour kicking off up there at Merrittville Speedway. Those guys super excited. They were supposed to be here 2 weeks ago at the racetrack, but unfortunately Mother Nature didn't allow that to happen here. So that's kind of a bummer, but Scott Burke, we've seen him in a few other cars throughout the years at the racetrack, from a street stock, which was back in the day. He's driven a modified before, been behind the wheel of a late model as well, but behind the wheel of the sprint car the last couple years, and I know some big changes to that program this year. They went big with their motor program, so looking to get a couple laps in here tonight, shake things down before they get their season kicked off. So always fun to watch some sprint car action, and sprints on this track itself will definitely be a little different than we have seen in the past. So looking forward to that later on this season as we do get some sprints back. And there he is, Scott Burke in the 9B ERW machine getting pushed off. Looking good, getting ready to go. Do a couple hot laps here just before we get to intermission. As I mentioned, we will have a full schedule released in the near future. Once we confirm numbers from the government and all that good stuff, we'll get it checked out, we'll get it ready to go, and we will let you know as soon as that's available with what we have coming up for the rest of the season here at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. As I mentioned, make sure you follow along Facebook and Instagram all season long. Check out what's coming up. That's where you can get all the information you need. Some information on the Speedway website as well. Unfortunately, it seems silly nowadays, but websites not what they used to be. Keep those socials on hand. Checking Facebook, clicking away. But we do have some sprint car action later on this year. We've got some great vintage modified action coming out here. We've got the midget cars, I believe they are. Those are some very cool cars to watch. They've got some big motorcycle motors in them. They are a lot of fun to watch. Looking forward to seeing them here at the racetrack later on this year. Just happy to be back at the Speedway. I know that for sure. It's been quite some time, and a lot of fun. Seeing a bunch of familiar faces, seeing a bunch of new faces here at the racetrack. Scott Burke will get one more time around, making the trip from Charing Cross, Ontario. Not a bad looking machine there, Scott Burke in the 9B. that will do it. He will make the right-hand turn. Well, not that time by, but next time by. He'll make the right-hand turn off into the pits, and little taste of some sprint car action here at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Something completely off topic. I'm very happy to say I haven't called it South Buxton Raceway yet tonight, so that's good. That's good. A lot of these cars, if you ever are looking, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you know someone that is a business owner looking for a little bit more exposure, get a hold of some of these drivers. Not a bad way to advertise your business, support some local racers, and get some exposure here. We've got quite the fan base on our YouTube channel, so take advantage of that if at all possible. As you see on the side of that sprint car, some blank real estate. So take advantage when you can. Support these local drivers. We do have our concession stand open, so I know a bunch of fans taking advantage of that. Happy to get some racetrack nachos. You can never go wrong with racetrack nachos, that's for sure. And as I mentioned, lots of cool new swag to get a hold of. So when we do get you down here in these seats, make sure you come by the souvenir booth, check those out. But that will do it. That is going to bring us to our intermission here on night number 2. So sit back and take a chance if you can. Head to the fridge, head to wherever it is you're doing. Check that out. We've got a pretty cool little video they made up here for you to check out during intermission. So check that out. We've got about a 15 to 20 minute intermission before we get back to racing here at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Safety crews sitting, hanging out, ready to go. Always doing a great job, and here they come, folks. Feature race number 1 for tonight, making its way out onto the track. And on the front row, we've got the 31 car of Marshall Horregers. Outside of him, the 28K. That is Caleb O'Leary. Behind him, we've got the 46 of Wes Bertozzi. We also have the 91 of Austin Pickering. Joel Desjardins in the 23D. You see sneaking up through the field there. That is the N64, last week's feature winner. The N64, that is Dylan Bonner. A little further back, we've got the 16 of Evan Bonner. Behind them, we've got the 21 car of Rick Ballison. The 29 car, that is Dave Johnson, the 29J. Behind them, we've got the 78 car, that is Brad Bowden. And inside of him, we have Jessica Van Hall, making her feature start here tonight in the mini mod division. 13 cars, 12 cars, 13, oh, 12, 13, who knows? That many cars ready to go for our feature event here tonight. White flag out one more time around before we cut these guys loose for the Great Lakes Gymnastics mini mod feature here on night number 2 at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Definitely excited to get these features in under the lights. Great track conditions. Cannot wait to see how this one goes. Last week, man, it was a great feature. Unfortunately, one of the drivers not here tonight that put that battle in, but we've still got a great field here to go. Marshall Horregers, Caleb O'Leary on the front row. Keep an eye on that 31. Keep an eye on that N64, last week's feature winner. A few cars behind. They are no slouches at all, but green flag in hand. One more time through 3 and 4. Race fans, here we go. Green, 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 down into 1 and 2 they go. Off down through 3 and 4 they come. Marshall Horregers with the slight lead over Caleb O'Leary in the 28K. Dylan Bonner in the N64 in that 3rd position. Down through 1 and 2. Behind them, Austin Pickering slides up the track. Inside of him, out of 2, Wes Bertozzi in the 46 car, looking to make a run down the backstretch. Not Not sure how well you can see it on the TV, but some pretty cool lights inside the 21 of Rick Ballison. He's got that thing lit up as down the backstretch they go. The N64, Dylan Bonner makes a move on the inside of Caleb O'Leary in the 28K. He'll take that second position away as they come down across the stripe. Caleb O'Leary in the third, and Austin Pickering in the fourth position, and Wes Bertozzi rounding out the top five here. Down the back stretch they go. Race leader putting a lap on the 06 of Jessica Van Hall, and now the 78 of Brad Bowden. Cleaned by them. Behind him in the N64 car, Dylan Bonner about 8 car lengths back of our race leader. Lots of action behind them. Battling for the third position, we've got the 28K and the 91 of Austin Pickering. Wes Bertozzi, Evan Bonner behind them. Rick Ballison. Now almost half a track from the first two cars back to our third and fourth position. Cars spread out pretty evenly here as the feature rolls through. Lots of room to run for our leaders as they come up on some lap traffic again. Dylan Bonner in the N64 not making up much ground to the leader as they head down through 3 and 4 one more time. A bit more traffic in front of them this time as they make their way down into 1 and 2. A little bit of smoke out of the 78 of Brad Bowden. Bonner now looking to the inside of Marshall as they make their way past the 23D of Joel Desjardins. Halfway, we are here in our mini mod feature. Well, no contest so far for race leader Marshall Horeger as he makes his way around again through 1 and 2. Still about 8 to 10 cars now ahead of second place, Dylan Bonner. Dylan not reeling him in as he had hoped to. Caution out, caution on the Speedway. That will bunch this field up as we get into the closing laps here of our mini mod feature. So that gives an opportunity. Now Austin Pickering not in the second position. That is Dylan Bonner in the N64, who now has an opportunity to close the gap on the 31 car. See what kind of restart he can pull off here to gain that ground and take that top spot away and pick up feature win number 2 on the season for him. As we mentioned, track shaping up very, very well tonight for our features. Big props to the track crew who worked hard all week getting this thing smoothed out and ready to go for this week after some rain that we did have throughout the week. lineup looking good. Give these guys one more time around before we cut them loose again here for our mini mod feature. It will be Marshall Reggers in the 31. Bringing them back to the stripe. Caution still out. It looks like the 78 car Brad Bowden. We had some smoke out of that car earlier on. So the 78 car coming to a stop down in turn number 4. That will cut his night short. As we mentioned, some smoke earlier on, so some technical issues. We've also got now the 91 of Austin Pickering. He's making his way into the infield. Well, it looks like the Austin Pickering car will make his way into the pits. That will be it for his night. Marshall Reggers, Dylan Bonner, Wes Bertozzi. 1, 2, 3. White flag is out one more time before we cut these guys loose for their feature event tonight. Get back to racing, get back to green. Slowly but surely these guys are making their way through here. We started with a bunch, we're down to a few. We'll see if Dylan Bonner in the N64 has anything for race leader Marshall Reggers, or if Wes Bertozzi can maybe tiptoe around these two. But definitely that middle line that Marshall running seems to be the quickest so far. Green flag in hand, Marshall going to bring him down. One more time, back to green we go. Smooth through 1 and 2 for race leader Marshall Reggers. Dylan Bonner now up to the high side, gonna drop down, see if he can get any traction down on the bottom of the track. Door to door they come out of turn number 4. Little bump, but they keep it going down through 1 and 2. Down again across the stripe one more time. Marshall Reggers leads Dylan Bonner, followed by Wes Bertozzi. Rick Ballison now up into that 4th position, and Evan Bonner in the 16, rounding out the top 5. down inside the closing laps here of our mini mod feature. Not sure if there's enough time for Dylan Bonner to make any type of moves past race leader Marshall Harregers. Those two are now again probably a full corner away from the third place position. That is Wes Bertozzi, followed by Rick Ballison. Down the backstretch they go again, 31 leading them through. 2 more laps to go in our Great Lakes Gymnastics mini mod feature. Marshall Harregers pulls about 8 cars on second place, Dylan Bonner, and a long way back to third place, Wes Bertozzi. So despite some catastrophic failure, we've got 1 to go for race leader Marshall Harregers in the 31. One more time around, down through 1 and 2 they go, nice and smooth. 31 up on some lap traffic of Caleb O'Leary. He'll have to tiptoe around, but lots of room between him and the second place car. Through the bottom, down he comes, and checker flag's gonna fly. Marshall Harregers in the 31 picks up tonight's mini mod feature, followed by Dylan Bonner in the N64. Third place will go to the 46 of Wes Bertozzi. Fourth, Rick Ballison, and rounding out the top 5 is Evan Bonner in the 16 mini mod. Not a bad feature run at all here tonight in our Great Lakes Gymnastics mini mods. Not quite the same door-to-door action, but definitely some good racing action here tonight in our first feature event of night number 2. So that puts 1 win on the feature for the N64 and 1 win on the, or 1 feature win on the season for the 31 of Marshall Harregers. As the season goes on, we'll keep an eye on the points, see how that goes for them. As we continue on, rolling right into feature race number 2 with our mini stock division. White flag in hand one more time around before we cut our mini stock feature loose here tonight. On the front row, we've got the 50 car of Ken Frazier. Inside of him, the 20M, 2M. I'm not sure exactly what number he's going with tonight, but 2M, Brad Maynard in there. Second row, we've got the J2 car. That is James Kelly. Outside of him, the 26 car. The 26, that is Tim Newell in the 26. Behind them, we've got the 747, James Beaulieu in the 747. The 77 truck, that is Tate O'Leary. A little further back in the 92H, that is Ryan Houston in the 92H. Green flag in hand, where you're going to bunch them up and get them ready to cut them loose for our mini stock feature. Leader on lap number 1 will be the 2M of Brad Maynard, followed by the 50 of Ken Frazier. James Kelly doing battle with the 26 car of Tim Newell as they head down the backstretch. Tim Newell in the 26 now looking to make his way all the way up to that second position, going door to door with the 50 of Ken Frazier. Going to take that spot away. Brad Maynard leads lap number 2, followed by the 26 and then the 50 car. Lots of room to run. Cars spreading out just a little bit here through our feature. We'll have to see who can gain some ground on race leader Maynard. Down the backstretch they go, and it will be the 26 of Tim Newell taking that top spot away as Brad Maynard now dives down to the inside trying to make a move. Can't get it to stick, slides around a little bit but holds on, keeps that second position. Kent Frazier in the 50 car still sits in that third spot. Newell still leads, Maynard still second, Frazier in third. Fourth, we go back to James Kelly in the J2 and Ryan Beaulieu in the 747, rounding out the top 5 here. Ryan in the 92H pulling off to the infield. Some smoke the lap earlier out of that car, so obviously some technical issues. They're going to get that one parked on the infield as we continue on here. We're rolling through for mini stock feature tonight. Almost a full half backstretch length for race leader Tim Newell in the 26 car. Pulling up on the halfway mark here in our mini stock feature. Good battle there, a little further back in the pack as James Beaulieu and J2 of James Kelly do battle down into 3 and 4. Beaulieu will try to make it stick on the inside. Both of those cars about half track back now from our race leader, Tim Newell in that 26, but a good battle nonetheless. Every spot counts no matter where you are in the feature here, and those guys going at it. Full straightaway there to our second place of 20, Brad Maynard. And a little further back, Ken Frazier in that third position. Not much changing out front. Things rolling along. Judging by the smell up here in the tower, I would assume some rear end issues for that 92 car on the infield. Sounds like some issues there as the J2 car comes across the line. Not sure if he's having some issues. See if the 747 can take advantage. He's down now on the backstretch trying to make a move on the outside. Off through 3 and 4. Beaulieu will slide up. Probably about the best battle on the racetrack right now is the J2 and the 747. The rest of these guys pretty spread out as we take the white flag here for our final lap of our mini stock feature. Tim Newell in the 26, leading these guys around. Got about a half a track on second position, and pretty sure he's going to take this one home here tonight. Mini stock feature, checker flag in the air. It will be the 26 of Tim Newell, tonight's feature winner. As the second place now comes across the stripe, the 20 of Brad Maynard, followed by third position, the 50 car of Ken Frazier. Coming across the line now to take the checkers, it is the 747 of James Beaulieu, James Kelly in the J2, and O'Leary in the 747. Mini stock feature in the books. Not a bad feature at all. Went pretty quick. Thunder stocks down in the chute, lined up, ready to go for their feature event here tonight. And I did get word before the feature tonight that the 5G is driven by Gord Grant. So Gord Grant the wheelman tonight in that 5G car and doing very, very well in the heat race earlier on tonight. So glad to see him keeping on, persevering after the passing of his father earlier on today. So again, glad to see him here at the racetrack, and condolences to everyone in the Grant family. As they say sometimes, the show goes on. The other car we see there on the front row looks like the 727 of Sean Jones. So Sean Jones and Gord Grant set to go on the front row here for our Thunderstock feature. Just 3 features left before we get through tonight's event. Again, glad you're with us. Glad you're kind of enjoying the show. It will be again later on this week. You can watch the full program in full HD. Make sure you check that out. As the Thunderstock A main feature rolls out onto the racetrack, front row, Gord Grant in the 5G 327. That is Sean Jones. Second row, the 47 car of Mitchell Brusso. Matt Wilson in the 42. Nathaniel Greenaway in that 93 car. Outside of him, we have the 93 car. That is, sorry, drawing a blank. Calvin Fox there in the 93 car. Behind him, the 444 of Brian Brady. Kevin DeMore in that 39 car. A little further back behind them, we've got the 427. 427 is the, oh, sorry, wrong one. Trevor Jones in the 427. Apologize, I'm still getting used to some of these names here in our Thunderstock division. Let's continue on as they come back down here across the front stretch one more time, just making sure we've got them in order. Andrew Mayhew there in the 98 car. Kelvin Fox in the 93. Bunching them up, nose to tail, green flag in hand, getting ready to go. Sean Jones, Gordon Grant on the front row, ready to launch as they come out of 3 and 4 into the starting zone. One more time, Thunderstock feature, green flag in the air. Quite a sight to see. Lots and lots of Thunderstocks here tonight. Good action so far as we roll through lap number 1. Gord Grant, Sean Jones, Matt Wilson, 1, 2, 3. As the field spreads out a little bit, we've got some great action all the way back through the field. Trevor Jones, Kevin DeMore doing battle back, the 39 and the 427. Out front though, Gord Grant still leading the way through here, followed by Sean Jones and Matt Wilson. Not much changing up front. Make their way back across the stripe one more time. Nothing changing up front there. A little further back, we go to the 93 car of Kelvin Fox, followed by Mitchell Brusso in that 47 car. Mitchell Brusso in turn number 2. He comes around just a little bit. See if he can keep it rolling, or caution will come out. Caution will come out as the 47 of Mitchell Brusso comes around in turn number 2. We'll bunch the field up one more time. Again, great view of the cars as they come off down 3 and across in front of the flag stand there. Track is clear. Mitchell Brusso made his way out of the infield. He will join the tail of the field. Just got a little squirrely there coming out of turn number 2, so he'll have his work cut out for him, see if he can make his way back up through the field. Brian Braden, Kelvin Fox on the second row of our Delaware-style restart. Behind them, Kevin DeMore in that 39 car. White flag out. We'll give him one more time around before we do cut these guys loose. Gord Grant in that 5 car. Down the back stretch they go one more time, green flag in hand. Marcel Gaudet, race leader, will bring them down through 4 one more time as we get ready to cut them loose. Green flag in the air. Matt Wilson, Sean Jones battle door to door down the backstretch for that second position. Cars around in turn number 2. Not sure what happened there, but we've got some cars around. We've got Wilson in the 42. He spun there in turn number 2. He was doing battle up front there with the 327 of Sean Jones. So a little bad luck for third place of Matt Wilson. Thirteen laps left to go in our Thunderstock feature here tonight. So far, a strong showing from the 5G of Gord Grant, who's leading this feature so far. Sean Jones in the 327 sits in that second position. Now we've got the 93 car. Kelvin Fox has now found his way up into the top 3. Behind them, we've got the 427. That's Trevor Jones. And outside of him, the 39 of Kevin DeMore. Brian Brady in that 444. Marcel Gaudette in that 72 sits up there in the 5th position. Green flag in hand. Gord Grant going to bring him around one more time. 13 to go here in our Thunderstock feature. Slow and steady they come out of turn number 4. Green, green, green. Gord Grant, Sean Jones out of 2 down the back stretch. They go 1-2 behind them. Calvin Fox and Kevin Demore in the 39. 3 and 4. Demore up a little bit through 3 and 4, trying to make the move on the youngster. Not going to get it done. Trevor Jones in the 427 and the 444. Brian Brady doing battle back there for that 5th position. Good battle throughout the field. Quite a street stock feature we have got shaping up here. Great action all through the field. Alan Reum in that 36 looking in the mix for that 5th position. Trevor Jones down on the inside. He will lead that lap, taking the lead away from Gord Grant in the 5G. Behind him, 93, Calvin Fox brings it around and will park it down on the bottom of turn number 2. That's going to bring out a caution as he is stuck right down on the bottom of the track. Gets it fired up, backs it back up, so he will rejoin the tail of the field. Unfortunately, as they go by the 5G, he's got himself a flat right rear, and that will do some damage. You're not going to run that way. He will have to take that thing into the pits, see if he can't get that tire changed. He will get 2 minutes to try and get that tire changed and back out onto the racetrack. I know he was pitted a little way from the exit of the racetrack, so he's got some work to get down to his stall and get back. Out front, though, Sean Jones there in the 327. Not a bad feature to watch so far here in our Thunderstock division. Lots of great racing action all the way through. Track shaping up really, really well. Lots of good battles. Kevin Demore and Brian Brady slowly working their way through the field. They now sit up in that 2nd and 3rd position. See if they've got anything for race leader Sean Jones. Behind them, though, Trevor Jones in that 427. Alan Reum in the 36, I apologize, 36, Alan Reum. Matt Wilson, Marcel Gaudette behind them. Paige Lanou, Andrew Mayu behind them too. Behind them we've got the 47 of Mitchell Brousseau, still working his way back through traffic, and outside of him, Nathaniel Greenway in that 93 car. So a few little mistakes for a couple drivers here, costing them some spots in tonight's feature, but a lot of them a long way to go. As we mentioned, Calvin Fox, the rookie, still only 14 years old out here piloting that race car, so still doing a pretty darn good job. A little different from the go-karts that he's used to, but doing a heck of a job behind the wheel of that Thunderstock. Laura Othier still back in the field there in the 30 car. Gord Grant in the 5 gets that tire changed. He will rejoin the tail of the field. May have been a fast car, but he certainly has his work cut out for him if he wants to get anywhere back near the front in that 5G car. Green flag in hand. We are just about ready to go one more time. Green this time by for our leader, Sean Jones in the 327. Kevin DeMore, Brian Brady tucked in behind, ready to go back to green one more time. Three wide they come out of turn number 4 for that 5th position. Wilson and Jones door to door, getting, touching, bumping, banging as they go down into turn number 2, and I think we've got some action there. 427, that's Trevor Jones, looked a tad intentional as he tried to get on the inside of Wilson in that 42 car. 3 wide, not able to do that all the time. Couple cars coming out of the infield, not sure what happened there. Calvin Fox in the 93. As well as Nathaniel. Both of those cars coming out of there, and looks like some front end damage on the 93 as well as a right rear flat, so that's going to cut the feature a bit short for the 93. He'll see if he can get that thing cut or fixed and changed, the cut tire. '93 in the Calvin Fox car. He'll make his way to the infield, right rear flat. Also, a bumper just picked up off the backstretch. So Sean Jones in the 327 still leads him around. Things a little squirrely on that lap as they got a little crazy coming out of turn 4. Wilson and Jones in the 427. Still behind them, the 39, Kevin DeMore. The 444 of Brian Brady sit 2 and 3. Alan Riom behind them in the 2nd row, Delaware style restart. A little bit of water up on the racetrack as those two came out of the infield, but everything looking good, track clear, ready to go. 2 minutes on the clock for the 93 of Kelvin Fox, who did go off the racetrack with that right rear flat. See if he can get it fixed up. Join the tail end of the field. Radio on the tower. 93 won't make it back out for the feature. There's some damage on that car, so we've got green flag in hand. We will get ready to go back to green, this time out of 4. They'll make their way down the backstretch. Sean Jones, Brian Brady, and Kevin Demore, 1, 2, 3. Green flag in hand. One more time. Here we go. Green, green, green. Sean Jones still leading that lap as they come on down the backstretch. They go. Kevin Demore in that second position. Brian Brady in the 444 sits in the third. A little bit of craziness going on a little further back in the pack. Wilson up into the wall. He keeps it going. Everybody getting a little squirrely here. Gord Grant has worked his way back through the field. He now sits in that 4th position. Great run by that 5G car after the flat, making his way back up through the field. Caution comes out one more time. We've got a car stopped down there in turn number 2. Stop back there. That's the 92 of Paige Lanou. Looks like a little bit of front end damage there on that car. Not sure if she's going to need the hook or if she can manage to get that thing off into the pits. Sounds like she's going to need the hook over there to get that car off. So just before that happened, a little bit of contact between the 92 and the 42 of Wilson. They came down through 3 and 4. So not sure if that's a result of that contact of those two. Not much changing out front other than Gord Grant now all the way back up to that 4th position. One heck of a run from that car tonight, that is for sure. Well, looks like the tow track wants to make his way around the track and come on by the grandstands before he makes his way to turn number 2 to hook that car. Well, race fans, not sure anybody listening in YouTube land, if you got a tow truck, look us up. Please and thank you. Feel free, give us a shout if you got a tow truck. As we roll through our Thunder Stock feature here tonight. Well, the side of the 98 car there for Andrew Mayhew looks pretty good from this camera angle, but some pretty significant damage on the passenger side of that car. Not sure who he's gotten into throughout this feature, but some bent up sheet metal on the side of that one, that is for sure. But I guess some bumping and banging is kind of common when it comes to some racing. There we get a look at that car on the 98. Some tore up sheet metal, but I'm sure those guys will bang it out, roll it out, rivet it back on for next week, that's for sure. As we said, some great racing action all the way through the field here, so lots going on from front to back. Hard to keep an eye on it all as we roll through these features. Not much changed out front there. The 327, Sean Jones still leading these guys around. Kevin DeMore in the 39. Brian Brady in the 444. Had some pretty good momentum going here into these closing laps of this Thunderstock feature. We'll see if we can get going one more time, get these guys back to green. Paige Lanou in their 92 car will make her way off into the pits. Well, Page off onto the infield there. Track is clear, white flag in hand. We will get these guys ready to cut loose one more time for our Thunderstock feature event. Sean Jones, Kevin DeMore, Brian Brady, still 1, 2, 3. Keep an eye on Gord Grant in that 5 car. See if he can work his way up through the field just a little bit more in these closing laps. Again, off the infield, off to get his tire changed earlier on, making his way back through the field. So a good run. Given the circumstances today for the 5G of Gord Grant. I'm sure pushing all he can to get that thing to victory lane tonight. Sometimes you get that little extra power on your shoulder and you give her a go. Single file restart this time as we come back down the back stretch, green flag in hand. Eight laps to go here in our Thunderstock feature. Sean Jones bringing them on one more time. 39, Kevin Namora, all the way down the backstretch, using up every bit of real estate he can. White flag in hand. My mistake. I thought we had some more laps to go. White flag in hand. Last lap here. 3:27, Sean Jones down the backstretch. He goes. Gord Grant now to the outside, looking to take that second position away. He will slide up just a little bit, but it will be Sean Jones in the 3:27. Gord Grant working his way back through to that second position, and the 4:44 of Brian Brady rounding out the top three in tonight's feature. Great run tonight for everybody involved. A couple more laps there for Gord Grant. May have got that done, but all the way back up through the field to that second position. Not a bad run, and as it says on the back of the car, it worked in iRacing. Great run from all our Thunderstock drivers here tonight. Sean Jones, Gord Grant, and Brian Brady. 1, 2, 3. Three features in the books, just 2 to go. Late models lined up in the chute down there, getting ready to go for their feature event here tonight. Late models and modifieds left on the schedule. Well, late model feature out onto the racetrack, and fans, this should be a good one. We've got one heck of a front row here to get this feature started. Greg Haskell in the RH21, Andrew Riom in the 1A. Both of those guys picking up heat race wins earlier on tonight, and definitely some speed in both of those cars, that is for sure. Not a great front row if you're sitting in the second row to try and get up there and get past these guys. But CJ Field sitting in that second row, as well as Brian Spielman in the 22. Jim Dale Jr. in that 00. Brett Hope in the 49 car. The bad fast grandpa Jim Jones. Outside of him, Brad Simpson in that 53 car. Behind them, we've got the 05 of Mike Lewis. We've got Mike Dale out there in that 00 car, missing some front end, not going to get quite the same aero. Cody Vandewinkle in the 43 car. Brad Bloomfield in the 11. The 48 car of Rob Young. 52 of Rick Cedar. 06 is Jordan Van Hall. And the 19D, I just lost his name. I had some good momentum going there. Don Douglas in the 19D, rounding out our late model feature event here tonight. And both of these, a bunch of these drivers surveying the track at intermission, and after that little bit of smoothing on the top, running in the bottom, we've got a bunch of lanes for these guys to run. This is going to be one heck of a fast late model feature. Keep your eyes on that front row. Both of those two going to fire fast. This is going to be good. Greg Haskell, Andrew Riom, late model feature, green flag in hand. Out of 4 they come. Here we go, race fans. Just like that, one heck of a jump for the 1A of Andrew Riom. He'll lead lap number 1, followed by Greg Haskell and CJ Field. Well, just like that, race leaders come up on the tail of the field. Andrew Riem going to put a lap on Rick Cedar already this early in the books. Making his way through lap traffic. Don Douglas now going a lap down. Mikey Dale next on the checklist to put down as they go through 3 and 4. Greg Haskell down to the bottom, gaining a little bit of ground on that 1A. Couple car lengths back as leaders come out of 2. Behind them, CJ Field still sits in that 3rd position, followed by Brian Spielman running in 4th. And just like that, nose to tail, we've got the leaders coming around. Caution will come out. We've got a car, Rick Cedar, in the 92 car. Sorry, 52 of Rick Cedar. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough to get it off the track. He gets parked right at the top of the exit of turn number 3. Good news for some racers as the leaders were already starting to make work of about a third of this field. It's something to watch these guys, man. They've got this stuff set up and rocking. Andrew Riem in the 1A. No slouch, but man, was he on a rail. Greg Haskell in the RH21 and close behind him in that 2nd spot. CJ Field in that 4 car sits in the 3rd position. Spielman and Hope back a little further. Both of those cars new to the field this year. Well, as some of you know, we do have some big motors in this class. We've also got some crate motors in this class. A track like this, a motor car definitely has the advantage with all that extra horsepower, but some of these crate cars can get it done. We've seen it happen in the past. Find that line, find the right groove, you're good to go, but you got a shoe like that out front, like Andrew Riem in that car. Obviously, the setup seems to be working so far. They are going to be tough to beat. Andrew Riem, Greg Haskell, CJ Field, followed by Spielman, Hope, and Jim Dale Jr. Caution out, we're going to bring that one back. Not quite a single file restart. Sorry, Delaware style restart. That would make sense why we are going to bring that one back. Lineup looks good, but we'll give him one more time around. One more feature to go after this race, fans. Make sure you stick around. Don't go to sleep just yet. One more feature to go. This time by, we'll cut him loose again. Race leader Andrew Rio. I'm going to bring him out of 3 and 4. One more time, back to green. Some good battles going on a little further back in the field. Some issues down the backstretch for the 49 of Brett Hope as he's going to come to a crawl. Not sure what happened on the 49 car, but he just came to a slow crawl coming out of turn number 2. He'll make his way off the racetrack into the pits. Andrew Riem, Greg Haskell, CJ Field. Spielman a good run so far, still sitting in that 4th position. Brad Bloomfield behind him in the 11. Keep an eye on that 48 car as well. Some sparks out the back of it last time he went down the back stretch, so we'll have to see if he's got any kind of rear end issues there or if it was just a fluke piece. Some decent equipment under there, but unfortunately under these conditions you never know what's going to happen and when. We'll get him bunched up, ready to go one more time. Andrew Riem, your current race leader in the Author Racing 1A car. As I mentioned, possibly later on this season, we'll see Mr. Brad himself behind the wheel, but so far, with a run like this, who knows? Might have to keep this Andrew kid back in there. CJ Field to the inside of this restart. Greg Haskell on the outside. See if he can get a bit of a jump. Get him going here as they come out of turn number 4. Green flag in hand. Andrew Riem going to bring him on out of turn number 4 one more time. Back to green. Well, halfway for race leader Andrew Riem. Don Douglas in the 19D, he makes his way to the infield. Well, leaders out half a turn away from 3rd place of CJ Field. Back behind them, Spielman and Bloomfield doing a battle for 4th and 5th. And once again, leaders making their way up onto the tail of the field. Andrew Riom putting a lap on Mikey Dale. Greg Haskell going to do the same. Both of those by. Still a ways back now to third place CJ Field as he comes across the stripe. Well, closing laps, and the leader's going to make his way up onto some heavy traffic now. We'll have to see if this comes into Haskell's favor. As Othier, the 1A car, sorry, gets up behind Brad Simpson. Now the lap car, Young going to get slide by Young. Now he's going to be looking to the inside and now the outside of the 05 of Mike Lewis. Race leader Andrew Riom picking him off one by one here as we go. Unfortunately, down the backstretch, we've got a slow car. That is Greg Haskell in the RH21. He brings that one to a stop. Not sure what cut loose or what let loose on that car, but that RH21 coming to a stop. Well, again, not exactly sure what happened to Greg Haskell. A good run in second place there, but something let loose on that one. Also, we've got a bit of a wet spot here. The 34 car of Jim Jones, as he came around a couple times, was leaking some fluids. Not sure if a cap may have come off of that car, what the deal is. Well, that's going to put the 4 car of CJ Field into that second position. Not sure if he has got anything for race leader Andrew Riom. Brian Spielman with a decent run sitting in that third position in the 22S. This will be a single file restart. Well, Cohen out on the racetrack for this single file restart. Single file, they come by. There it is, the cone. It will be no passing before you get past the cone, but we'll see what kind of jump the 1A car gets on this restart. Is he going to come down the backstretch through 3 and 4? Green flag in hand. It will be a green-white checker finish here for our late model class. Green is out. Green is out. I can't. Othier. It's not Othier. It's Riom down the backstretch in the 1-8 car. And the checkers are out. Checkers are out. That will do it. Andrew Riom is going to be your race winner, followed by the 4 car of CJ Field and the 22S of Brian Spielman. that will do it for our late model feature here tonight. Great run by Andrew Reum in that 1.8. No surprise, always fast. Doing a great job there. I'm sure we'll see him back again. So we'll wait just a couple minutes here as Brian Spielman will get from one car to the other, as we got one more feature left to go here. Our Shinkles modified feature is the last one of the night. Back at it here. We just had a quick little break. Going to have Scott Burke try and turn a couple laps here. Not sure what the deal is on the sprint car, but he's going to do a couple laps as we wait for the 22S and the 00 to get back into the modifieds for our feature event. Not much doing there. Some issues on the sprint car, so I guess that's a good thing that he got a shakedown here tonight instead of towing all the way somewhere for that to happen. But as we mentioned, one more feature left here to go. Sprint car making its way off past the world's best fire starter banner back there. Quick fire starters. I can honestly say, you know, to promote a product, I literally have it in my shed at my house and I use it almost once a week. Having a bonfire with the kids in the backyard, and it makes life so simple. Check them out. They actually have a video. You light it on fire in a pail of water and it just burns. quick fire starters. Make sure you check them out. Well worth the price. Available here at the Speedway. Thanks to Frank and the gang and everybody from Quick Fire Starters jumping on board this year. And as I mentioned, they're all over the place this season. I saw their fancy trophies they had at Delaware Speedway last night. So not just here, they are all over, and big supporters of motorsports in general here in Canada. So always happy to support local. Produced just up the road in London, Ontario. Just north of London, I believe, Park Hill. Don't quote me, but I know it's in that general direction. But made here right in our own backyard. So check them out, as we've got just a couple cars left to get going here for our modified feature event. I see a couple down there ready to go, just a couple more coming. Drew Smith in the 86 car. We see him sitting there ready to go, obviously, as well as the nose. That is Joel Dick. Hollywood Joel Dick in the 9D. Last week's feature winner was definitely the car to beat, the 09D. He was fast and showed it. That is for sure. Excuse me, that was for sure. We'll have to see for this feature if a little seat time for the 22S helps out, as he got a bit of a run to see what lines are going to work. Drew Smith, Joel Dick on the front row, Brian Spielman and Brad McLeod for our Shinkles Gourmet Meats Modifieds feature event here tonight. 14, that is Mario Toniolo. The 5X, Tim Richardson. 07, that is Curtis King. Curtis making the trek down to join us here at the Speedway tonight. Behind him, Bob Chapman in the 5C. Bad Bob. Chris Fiddler in the 33 car as well, ready to go to do battle here tonight in our modified feature. White flag in hand, 20 more laps to go on the evening. Drew Smith, Joel Dick on the front row. Yep, quite the camera angle there, Nick. You're going to like that one for sure. 2 cameras on the bottom of the flag stand. 2 by 2, side by side, down the back stretch they come, ready to unleash for our final feature here of night number 2. Joel Dick and Drew Smith. Here they go. Some issues right off the bat for the 33 of Chris Fiddler, as he's pulled that car to the infield. Off the hop, Joel Dick in the 09D takes the early lead. Drew Smith in the 86 hit the second. Brad McLeod going to run in third. Mario Toniolo and Tim Richardson rounding out the top 5. Smith closes in just a little bit there out of 3, but it's Joel Dick one more time. Down through 1 and 2. He pushes up a little bit in 2. Smith on the bottom, making a run down the back stretch. Sometimes the bottom's not the flashiest, but it certainly gets the job done. A little bit of extra moisture down there. See if Drew Smith in the 86 can make it work to his advantage. Joel Dick out of turn 2, still with a couple car lengths lead over Smith in second. Mario Toniolo has now worked his way up to that third position, followed by Tim Richardson and Curtis King now rounds out the top 5. Looks like some issues for the 43 car of Brad McLeod. He's going to pull that one to the infield. Feature started well for him, but some technical issues will bring that one down. Caution out, caution on the racetrack. Left rear flat there for Brad McLeod in the 43 car. See the truck getting in behind the 33 of Chris Fiddler. Not sure what happened to that car, but his feature cut short. Out front, though, Joel Dick in the 09D, leading these guys around. We'll double up behind him. We've got Currit. Oh, gee, it's getting late. Drew Smith in the 98 car. In that second position, Mario Toniolo in the third spot. Final feature here, winding down, 2 minutes on the clock for the 43 car of Brad McLeod. Joel Dick, last week's feature winner. Drivers will bunch up. Looks like we will get ready to go back to green one more time. Definitely nose to tail on this restart. Down slow through 3 and 4. Joel Dick's bringing them through the starting grid. Green we go. Well, Mario Toniolo in that 14 car taking advantage. He is now up into that second position. Great run up through the field. Joel Dick well out front in the 09D. Drew Smith in the 86 in third. Tim Richardson on his tail in that 5X, looking to make the move. Again, Joel Dick in the 090 has one line, and it is working very, very well for him. Pulls that lead out to about 10 cars now as he heads back down through 3 and 4. Mary O, Tony Olo, Drew Smith, Tim Richardson, Curtis King, Spielman, and Bob Chapman left here in our modified feature. Well, they bunched up a little there in turn number 1 and 2. Tony Olo still sits in second. Drew Smith in third. Tim Richardson in fourth. Not much changing. Richardson on the rear bumper of Drew Smith, trying to find some kind of traction to get her in. And Curtis King down to the inside of Richardson, and he gets spun just a little bit. No room for him to go. Caution will come out onto the racetrack. Curtis looked to the inside of the 5X car, but Tim not giving him any room. Joel Dick, your current race leader, still leading these guys around. Mario Toniolo in the blue 14. Second position for him. Drew Smith starting on the front row has fallen back just a little bit into that third position. Tim Richardson moving his way up just a little bit into that fourth spot. Brian Spielman still making a run. Car doesn't seem to be set the way he would want it. A bit of a push through the corner, so we'll see if he's got something a bit different coming for next week. And Bob Chapman there in the 5C car. Curtis King seems to have things fired up, headed in the right direction again. He will rejoin the tail of the field in that 07. Lineup looking good. Well, if you're still with us here, race fans, hope you're enjoying your evening. Just a few laps left to go here in our modified feature, just as we roll into Sunday morning, I guess it is now. But Joel Dick ready to go here as he leads him off through 3 and 4, green flag in hand one more time for our modified feature. Well, Curtis King bringing out the caution again one more time. The 07 car with some issues. He stopped at the top of turn number 2. Well, sounds like some contact there between the 5X and the 07. That's going to put the 5X of Tim Richardson to the tail. Joel Dick still out front here, followed by Mario Toniolo. Drew Smith, Brian Spielman now sits in that 4th position. Delaware style restart will get these guys lined up. Smith will file up beside the 14 car. Well, not sure what is going on here at the moment. Trying to get these guys lined up, trying to get some communication going here from point A to point B, make sure things are where they should be. I guess it's getting a little late for some folks here, trying to keep things organized and sorted out. We'll get this ready to go. Mario Toniolo still second. Joel Dick still in that 1st position, just trying to get the 5X car back behind the 07 of Curtis King. Well, 5X should be behind the 07. We'll try to get these guys single file so we can get this thing ready to go one more time. Well, not sure if Mr. Richardson in the 5X has got his receiver in, but not listening well, so he is about to get the black flag. Not the way we wanted to end the night here, folks. We had some good momentum going. Things were rolling along pretty good, but unfortunately, we'll get this sorted out. Looks like we've got people where we need to be. Gonna bring them around, try and get them loose one more time. Green flag in hand. Flagman Aiden gonna bring him onto the green. Joel Dick gonna lead him through 3 and 4 one more time. We will get back to green in our modified feature event. Drew Smith down to the inside of Mario Tonioli, looking to get back to that second position. Mario not going to let that happen. Closes the door. Back down through 3 and 4 they go. Joel Dick still your race leader. Mario Tonioli, Drew Smith, Brian Spielman, Curtis King. Spaced out just a little bit this time, out of 1 and 2. Well, good battle for that 4th position between Brian Spielman and Curtis King. Both of those cars doing well to keep their positions. Out front, though, Joel Dick in the 09D. Drew Smith now to the high side, trying to make a move past Toniolo, but not going to happen this time. 2 laps left to go. Down the back stretch they go. Drew Smith on the high line, trying to make it work. White flag in hand last time around the Speedway for leader Joel Dick. Behind him, though, Drew Smith looking to get to that second position, clawing his way down past. Now to the high side of Mario Toniolo, coming out of turn number 2. Slides her down to the bottom. On his bumper he comes. Not going to get her done. Out front, though, Joel Dick will take back-to-back feature wins. And at the wire, Joel Dick was your feature winner, followed by Mario Toniolo and Drew Smith. Door to door they came across the stripe. Great battle for second. And that is going to do it. Race night number 2 now in the books. Thanks again, race fans, for watching. Hope you enjoyed yourselves tonight. Make sure you check out all of our socials, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Get on there. We can check it out. We'll be rebroadcasting later on the week of tonight's racing action. Keep up to date with what's going on Facebook, on Instagram. Check it out. As always, super glad you were joining us here tonight. Hope you had as much fun as we did. Get some sleep, race fans. It's late. And we will catch you back here 7 o'clock next Saturday night for action at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Good night, race fans.